Hello everyone, welcome to our virtual Barhead live session. So today's session for Microsoft for Lawyers is all going to be about dynamics for legal service providers. So welcome. We'll get started here in about a minute or so, but in the meantime, get settled in. For the people just joining, if there are any issues and you can't hear us, just remember you might just need to hit unmute on the video there for LinkedIn. So by the way, my name is Rashona from Barhead. I'm a Power Platform trader here. Got a bit mixed up on my words there. And let us know in the chat where you're joining from, what you're looking forward to hearing about today. And as with all our other sessions, I'm going to say this up front. Amanda, maybe you might want to write this in the chat as well. Yes, the recording will be available for you to watch on demand. So after this, we'll upload it to our YouTube, post it on LinkedIn. You can find it here when you revisit the event page for this one.
And hi everyone, my name's Amanda. I'm the Engagement Manager for Consensus, which is a matter management and contract lifecycle management application that we've built on Microsoft using the Power Platform. I've got a real passion for helping lawyers use the existing tech they have, the Microsoft suite, for all their legal tech needs. I wear a number of other hats as a committee member for WALTA, the Women of Australian Legal Technology, and as a geeky guru for the Centre of Legal Innovation. And just a quick, to start off, I just want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that we're standing on here today, the Boonwurrung, Woonwurrung and Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people of the Eastern Kulin Nation, and pay and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders who are joining us here today. And I also want to acknowledge our fabulous event partners, the Centre of Legal Innovation and the Australasian Society for Computers and the Law, for their support to continue our mission for innovation in the legal industry. So as you can see, we're nearing the end. We've had six fantastic sessions. This is the seventh, our penultimate session on dynamics. We've just got 2 apps to go, which is really exciting. We've covered so much content in the last few weeks. And as Rashona said, all the sessions will be available, are recorded and will be available on LinkedIn. But please give us your feedback. Add comments and questions into the chat. We'd love to hear from you. So we really do want your input. So we're going to try and cover a lot in 30 minutes today. And it's going to be fast. It's going to be quick. So feel free to ask us questions as we go. Just a quick recap. Look, we set the scene at the start of this with this idea of information management, the amount of knowledge and content that lawyers need to work through, with teams acting as a bit of a conduit or as a bit of a catch-all to tie everything together. So we've run through a lot of apps. I won't go through them in detail. Rashona's going to quickly click on all the slides. To do, tasks, planner, task management, moving through to automation and how you can use it to automate approvals and notifications, moving through to forms and virtual agents for chatbots for things like intake and triage, moving on to AI Builder and how you can use smart artificial intelligence to extract data from contracts or schedules, moving on to email management and in the context of matter management. And here we introduced model-driven apps, the Power Apps here, so that you can help users with that annoying bugbear of tracking emails to matters. And then again, we use the context of Power Apps and model-driven apps in the context of contract lifecycle management and content creation. So we're really focused on document management here, how users can use all the content they're creating and manage that content in the context of contracts. Which brings us to, gosh, this is a lot of things to cover in a short space of time. Brings us to today. We've got 2 apps to go: Dynamics and Power BI. So today we're focusing on Dynamics, which is a bit of a Dynamics 101. It's not something that a lot of lawyers know how to use or what it is. Traditionally, they're lawyers by nature, and business development and marketing and networking is not one of their strong suits. So here we're going to start off with Dynamics, do a bit of a 101. Rashona, can you take us away with what is Dynamics?
All right, thanks, Amanda. So just to sort of set the scene here, I'm just going to give us a bit of an overview into the different Dynamics tools that you'll likely come across and a couple of the ones that we will cover today. So if you've never heard of Dynamics before, essentially this is Microsoft's suite of CRM type products. all about customer engagement with the ones that I've mentioned here. So we have a Dynamics 365 app for sales, there's one for marketing, and there's one for customer service. And as we go through the demo today, you'll also see how all of these bits can work together with these different tools that I've mentioned here, as well as the ones that we've talked about in our other previous sessions. So you can even get these systems to work with things like Microsoft Teams, any Power Apps, Power Automate that you might be using or building. So it all really comes together. So over here, I've just got some pictures to give you an idea of what these different apps look like and the purpose of them. So sales, as you would expect, it's all about sales. So this one typically is for your team or your people working with your clients, whoever you're engaging business in, to close and manage deals, as well as manage your relationships with them. So some of the things you can manage and track from here like your different contacts that you might be dealing with, the people and parties that you engage with, accounts or organizations that you work with. You can use this to store their information, track any interactions you might be having with them, as well as even do things like forecast revenue. So this one's all about automating your sales process. The other one that we'll take a look at for a bit today is also the Dynamics 365 marketing app. And this one, it's all about engaging your audience. So you might have clients that you work with. Maybe you want to do things like send them personalized emails, send them text messages. You might even want to take action and do things for them based on things that they might do. Maybe if they go and visit your website, you want to go and send them an email, send through a survey. So the marketing app gives us all of that functionality. We'll see today there's also some functionality to do things like manage and create events that you would want to run to. And we won't cover this one today, but it's good to know as well for what's out there, is that there's also a customer service app, which is, of course, all about engaging with your customers and pretty much managing any service and questions that they might have. So think about support requests that might come through. So this customer service app is used for your customer service team or whoever might be engaging with them to be able to track the different issues or questions that come up and then work through and engage with them on the different channels you might have. It could be a chatbot on your website, it could be phone, or they might come to you via email. So customer service allows you to track that aspect of it. So that's a bit of a quick insight into all of these, the few of these Dynamics tools that we've taken a look at. So with that said, Amanda, do you think it's time for us to get in our demo now?
I think so. Look, as you've gone through, there's quite a few different elements of what Dynamics can do, and it can get quite confusing which one to select and when. At the end of the day, though, lawyers are in the business of providing a legal service. They need to provide that legal service to clients, and traditionally, as I said, they're not that good with doing activities like business development. But regardless of whether or not you operate in a traditional time-based billing, or perhaps you have a subscription tier model, perhaps you've got some sort of other alternative free model for generating business, you need to manage those customers, and you want to nurture those clients from the opportunity stage where you're trying to get their business, manage those relationships and turn them into active matters and continue to manage that relationship. So, Dynamics just does just that. It gives you a way to nurture those clients, provide services to them like events and email campaigns, and seamlessly then track those relationships into matters. So let's take it from the very beginning. Suppose that you've gone to a legal conference, you've met someone, let's call her Leanne, and you want to be able to add them to your database. She's somebody that you want to get some work for in future, and you want to be able to contact her. So how would you go about creating Leanne in a system?
All right, so let's take a look at that then, Amanda. So over here, I've got up my Dynamics 365 sales. And you will notice that if you did come along to our other sessions, this looks very similar to those model-driven power apps that we were talking about previously. So this Dynamics 365 sales app that we're looking at, it is essentially a model-driven app, but it's one that's already come configured for you with all of the functionality that you need to manage any sales and closing deals, that sort of process here. So quite similar to the other apps we looked at, down the side we have the navigation. So here we can manage things such as our accounts or organizations that we work with, the people. And over here you can also see that we've customized it a bit so that we can surface the matters that we might have with them as well. Opportunities, leads. So you can get an idea here of the different types of things that you can have over here in your sales hub. So I'm going to head over, and like Amanda said, we've met this person. We want to now be able to track them in our system here. So think about this as a way to manage your client database. So let's start off by creating a new organization. So over here, I have a list of my organizations. You can see I've got some info, but this is totally configurable to what you need it to be displayed here. So, we've got org name, organization type. You could very well have in any other fields that you want here as well. So maybe if you wanted to display the industry that they were, for example, you could have that displayed here in one of these columns. Let's go ahead and we'll add in a new organization, one that we've just met. Let's call this one Gallup. We've already got my info populating there. Gallup Consulting, phone number. We can select things such as the industry that they're involved with, as well as all of this other info here. Of course, I'm not going to go through and add through every field right now. You don't want to watch me do that. But the idea is that whatever information you want to capture, you can capture here. And for now, let's go ahead and we'll save them. And I've already got one called that one. So let me just go ahead. I'll just cancel that one for now. I already got one created for that of Gallup Consulting. But the idea is, let me see if I can go and open it up. I'll open up this one actually. That we capture the information, and then from there we can also do things like see all the matters relating to them, details, and so on. So now I'm going to head over into my contacts area. So we've created our organization that this person, Leanne, is from. Let's go ahead and create details for where we can store Leanne's information. So over in my contacts area, once again, I can see all my contacts, but let's create a new one from here. And let's enter in some details from her. First name, last name, you can enter in things like job title. The organization, you can link it up to where they're from as well, so that it's all tracked here. And also just enter in an email as well. And we'll leave it at that for now. So if you recall from our other sessions, we also mentioned a bit about this timeline view here that we have. So every interaction I have with Leanne, and we'll see throughout this demo as well, if she's sending through emails, if we're having phone calls with her, if we have maybe tasks that we want to follow up with her or anything like that, all of these interactions we're going to see getting tracked over here on the timeline view. So this is where we'll be able to see that and manage our interactions with her. All right, Amanda, that's creating an account and adding in contacts. Anything else for that one? I reckon we should move on to the next part now.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's say that now you want to target Leanne. You want to send her some sort of newsletter or email campaign on a topic that you think is going to help you build your credibility, build your trust with her, and you want to demonstrate your knowledge in a particular field. So let's say you want to send her an email and you want to call it, you've got a newsletter for Microsoft for Lawyers. It's on a topic like cybersecurity. Let's go through what the dynamics for marketing looks like now.
All right, so let's switch over into marketing. By the way, what we're showing you today is only a very small subsection of what is capable with these tools. These are massive tools capable of a lot of functionality. We've just tried to fit in what we can in the half an hour session that we do have. So over here, let's say, we've got Leanne, we want to send her a newsletter now. So I'll switch over into my Dynamics 365 marketing app. And down here, for example, creating emails is something that we're able to do from this. I've already gone ahead and created an email for now, but I'll just show you around what it looks like to build these out. So we've got all these different emails that we're sending out to our audience and our clients. I've set up this newsletter. And it's simple to build because it's just this simple drag and drop interface people can use to build out and design the emails. So you have a lot of control over the design, what type of branding you want on this stuff, so you can really make it your own. I'll just hit edit here so we can take a look at what it looks like as we build it out. But we can have different templates. You can see here I've added in my own cover image for it. We can do things like add in pictures throughout, buttons which can link to surveys, websites, events, and so on. So I've used this interface here to simply just drag and drop, build out my email newsletter that I want to send. So once you've built out your email, you then of course want to select the audience who's going to be receiving it. So one of the other things that we can do from marketing are manage and create these different segments that we might have. Segments are a way for you to group who you want your audience to be. So for example, it could be something like maybe everyone who you have in Melbourne or Sydney. It could be based on their location. It might be everyone who belongs to an organization from a particular industry. Maybe if they're from the consulting industry, we want to create a segment for that audience. So creating segments is the way that we can have our contacts, but then target them with these emails or these other marketing efforts that we have. So let me go ahead and I'll just open up one that I created before, just as an example. So over here, I've just created one. You can see that one. I've named it like consulting industry. So essentially, I've just set up that segment as a way to just target people who belong in the consulting industry. So once you set up your segments, is one of the other aspects we have here in marketing is the journey aspect. So journeys allow us to take this audience or this segment through a particular path. It might be sending them a range of different emails that we've set up, inviting them to events, sending them text messages, notifications. So for example, for my newsletter one that I've set up, I've created this one for my cybersecurity campaign perhaps. So I've selected my segments that I want to target, which are the people in the consulting industry. And then from here, I can kind of build out this workflow that I want to run. So I can select what emails I might want to send to them. So let's go ahead and pick that newsletter here. For now, I just want to send that newsletter, but maybe I might also want to do things like maybe send them a text message a week or so later. It might also be I might want to then take action based on an action they might take. Did they click on this particular page of the email? Did they open the email or not? Send them another follow-up email. So that type of workflow we can build out using this journey area. All right, so now say I've set up this journey. We've got the email back. So now Leanne, she's received that email. So let me open it up in Outlook for us. So let's say Leanne receives this email. She's got that. She could also then, of course, reply to that email that she gets as well. So let's say we've got her response back and she just received the newsletter and now she just sent us something back saying, thank you for the info. So like we took a look at in the other sessions, you can also track this information as well for it to be stored in Dynamics and these emails. So simply, once again, we have that Dynamics 365 connector here that we can use. And then we've got the email. If we want to track this in Dynamics, we can simply just link it up to Leanne. So once that's done, back in Dynamics now, let's open up here. We can see in the timeline that this email is something that we've tracked and we can see it from that we've got that from her. All right, Amanda, so that's our marketing side of things for now.
So, I mean, there's so much potential there for you to be able to nurture your clients, and the questions just come in. Often it is the case that lawyers, especially in smaller organizations, are really doing a lot of this work in-house. Sometimes they do brief out some of the marketing to external law firms, to external marketing agencies, or even into an internal marketing team. But I think the more that you have the knowledge of what all the pieces of the puzzle and how you can really leverage the end-to-end idea of managing a client through this journey, the better. So let's go into a little bit more of an event now. We've done an email campaign. What does it look like if you actually want to run a webinar or a face-to-face event? How could you then manage that?
Yep, of course. So of course, that's another thing we could all manage via the marketing app that we have. So in marketing, we have a area here dedicated to event planning. So you can use this for your webinars that you set up, as well as any in-person events that you might be having. There's a lot you can do with this. You can manage different conferences, all the different rooms and sessions that you might have can all be set up directly from here. For the purpose of our demo for today, I've gone ahead and I've set up one for maybe a cybersecurity webinar that we want to run. So we can give it a name, the time. We can automatically even create a Teams webinar from here directly. It's just a toggle switch and then the webinar link is ready to go. If we had multiple speakers, an agenda, we can also configure that from here too. And of course, we need somewhere where people can go ahead and register for the event. So over here, I've got simply just set up the details of my events. And we've got this registration page ready for us to use now. So people I send this to can simply just see the details of the event. We can configure things like the speakers who are going to be there, that background image that you see, and they can go ahead and proceed to register from here to fill out that form. Then, of course, all the people who are registering, we can manage from here as well and see everyone who signed up from it here too. So let's say this event happened and it went live. Over here, we can also then mark off the attendance for our attendees as well. So then perhaps we might want to target more marketing for the people who attended those events. One other thing with the events as well is, of course, we can send email invitations for this too. So I might just quickly head over back into another email that I've set up. So I've set up another email here, which is to invite people to that particular event that we set up. So quite straightforward, you can set up an email like this about your event, send it to your targeted people. You can even then link buttons to that targeted event, which will take them directly to the registration page. So for example, let's say we've sent it to Leanne. She gets this email and then directly from here, she can go to that registration page to sign up. All right, Amanda, back to you now.
Thanks. And look, it's a really great way of actually understanding who are attending your events and who, as you suggested, you might want to nurture some more and send some more information to. So if you know Leanne has attended 3 or 4 of your events, you know she's engaging in your company, you know that she's somebody that you want to target for some work. So, let's say the Holy Grail, she then comes to you and says, thanks, you've been sending out some great content. I've attended 3 or 4 of your events and they've been fantastic. I would like to brief you on some work. Let's take that journey through from into an opportunity phase. Now, in the world of sales, typically, people talk about leads and opportunities when they're trying to sell some sort of product. In the world of legal services, that might be slightly different. So let's see how we can go through that journey and what that looks like.
Yep, of course. So that's something that we can manage via these sales apps. So like Amanda said, Leanne's now interested. So we've got this email from her. We can go ahead and create an opportunity to manage this all. So let me head over into our sales app here. And I'll head down into opportunities. So from the opportunities, we'll create a new one. And let's call this, what should we name this one? Let's call it
cybersecurity advice.
Yeah. Call it advice now just for the speed of it, and let's link it to Leanne. And of course, we can add in some more details here as well. I'll just fill in a few for now.
Now, this might be in the context of, she wants you to do some work, and you've obviously got to go through a process of setting up a letter of engagement with her. You've got to send her a quote. You've got to, set up a retainer. There's a whole lot of to and from that you've got to do before you can actually create a matter. And similarly, you might also need to do a conflict check, which is often something that is the first step that you need to do before you can actually engage with a client. We've got a couple of screenshots here. Roshana, just flick the one before. A couple of screenshots here. This is an example of something that we've built for another legal services provider that had a similar sort of need. You can see there that yellow button, create a conflict check. We've got this idea of, we've got all the information about, in this case, it was a service, but it could be an opportunity. It could be bidding for some work. It could be getting a new client on a retainer. And you need to perform a conflict check on that client and on the other party that you might be involved in. So it could be something that's once off, or it could be something which is ongoing. So we've got, a screen here which enables you to do a conflict check. And then we've got, an example set up here where there's a certain list of criteria that we've checked. We're checking all the other accounts in our system, all the other matters in the system. And, you can see in this example here, it's come up as no conflict check. All that criteria that is listed there is coming up as no, this client and the other party is not existing, within our system. Alternatively, the following screen, you've got, yes, there is a conflict that exists. And in this scenario, the client said, look, sometimes we still want to manage that conflict. So despite the fact that it's coming up there, I think that bottom line is, yes, other party is engaged as a client of an existing service with us, but there's a requirement to actually for a lawyer to come in and override that and say, well, it's a managed conflict, despite the fact that that record exists and there's a match in that criteria, we can still, take on this piece of work. So there's a number of stages, or a number of sort of holding stages that you might have with a particular opportunity before you turn it into a matter. And that is, some of the steps that you might go through.
All right, thanks, Amanda. So with the few minutes left that we have, what we'll do now is let's show you how we can also then see all the matters, and then how that also links up to that consensus app that we have of course showed you in our previous sessions. So I'm going to head back over into sales here. And over here, you can see that we've got these matters. So over here, we can get an overview of all the different matters that we have in our system that our company is currently working on. We can then, of course, click into it. Which one should we click on? Swansea. Let's go with that one. And, we can see things like the different documents that we might have for this matter, any emails that have gone through tasks. So we can also manage it all directly from this sales app as well for us to be able to access it. And of course, we can also create new matters from here too, as well. So one other thing is I'm just going to flick over here into our matter management system now. So you can see what we had over here in the sales app is just a segment of what we can see here. So over here in matter management is where we can go to the extent of managing the full life cycle of all of this. So over here, we have all of our matters. We have the different organizations and contacts available as well. Something I'll point out as well about the organizations is that when you also go and you create one, let's click on that one for here. So of course you can put in their info. You can also search their ABN that we have here. So if you're setting up a new organization, let's just say Barhead for now. As you set it up, you can actually just do a search to directly find the ABNs, which should come up in a moment. There we go. And let me just open up one of these other matters that we have here.
So you really can take that life cycle from trying to sell to a client and then turning it into a matter. And so what Roshana is now showing you is what that matter looks like as you go through the process of allocating it in progress, tracking court dates, tracking deadlines, tracking matter dates, all seamlessly from the very beginning of an opportunity all the way through to the matter closure, all in one place, and all the data, whether that is contact data, organization data, client data, or metadata is all living in the one ecosystem and all talking to each other.
All right, thanks, Amanda. We are at time now. Do you reckon we should start to wrap things up for today?
Yep, that'd be great. Let's just run through. Look, a quick reminder: we've got one session to go. The last session is on Power BI. It'll be a wrap-up session, so please keep your eyes peeled for that. And just a reminder that we are offering a special offer for all our viewers for Consensus. Please get in touch. We'd love to get your feedback and would love to engage with you about what you think about the series, any feedback you have, and on Consensus, the application that we've developed as well. So thank you very much for your time today. We look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks, everyone. See you next time.